Oh, thank you.
So kind.
Hi, I'm Katie.
I'm Gabby.
I'm Sarah.
And this is the show. Yeah. Woo! A little background on us. We are roommates.
This is true.
It's going really well.
Really well.
Super great.
Really well.
If anyone has a room to sublet, please let me know after the show.
Cool, awesome. Thanks, Sarah. So anyway, before we start, just a couple housekeeping things.
Please do not walk in front of the camera while people are performing. If you need to, do it while we're talking, not when people are going.
Yeah, you can disrespect us, but nobody else. Another thing, we will have a little intermission around 9.
And most of all, have fun.
Do you know who's up first?
Yeah, I get. Oh, guys, you're not gonna fucking believe this. It's Sarah.
Woo!
Hi. How's everyone doing? Good, that's good. So the pandemic's starting to end. Very exciting. My least favorite thing about that is that I can't do telemedicine appointments anymore. I don't mean to sound like a 4-year-old, but going to the doctor is really scary and I hate it. It's not because of shots. I don't mind shots because they make me feel like an edgy mutant superhero. Like, they start putting the needle in and I'm like, what are you doing to me? You'll never get away with this. It's really fun. They hate me. That wasn't part of the joke. Doctors really do hate me. They always think I'm lying to them. Like, I go in and I tell them that I don't like the automatic blood pressure reader because, I don't know about you guys, but I don't trust robots with my limbs and appendages. But I tell them that it makes my blood pressure higher and they think I'm lying, which, why would I lie about being a little bitch baby? It really doesn't make me look good. I've kind of given up on trying to please doctors because they look at me, they look at my body, and they're like, I see what's going on here. And I'm gonna be such a cunt about it. Like, you'd think it was just the regular doctors, but it's not. It's like all doctors. So like my psychiatrist, or as I like to call her, Dr. Give Me Happy Pills. I go in and I'm like, hey, I've been on the same prescription for like 5 years. Can I have a refill? And she's like, I see you're still fat. And I'm like, thank you for noticing. Oh my God. And she's like, have you tried not being fat? And I'm like, that's so helpful. No, I haven't. Thank you. Like the eye doctor. I don't know what reason the eye doctor has to be weird and combative towards me. Like, I go to the eye doctor, and he told me in this really belligerent way that I was at risk of possibly having glaucoma. Except he has a really thick Boston accent, so I went home and looked up glaucoma. That's not a thing. But glaucoma is when you slowly go blind, which is really terrifying to me. So then the eye doctor told me that I had to do an extra round of the fuzzy box test. You guys know it. You click the button when you see a blurry square on the screen. Side note, high school totally ruined me because I go into the eye doctor and I'm like, I need to get a good grade in looking at Little Tiny House, or else I will die. So I did turbo fuzzy boxes, like AP, if you will. And I had to do 15 minutes in each eye, and I astral projected. I saw my future. I saw my fuzzy box house with my fuzzy box wife, my fuzzy box children, and I too was both fuzzy and a box. I still think the weirdest thing that's happened to me at the doctor was when I was like ages 12 to 15, and I would go and she would do that bit where like she made my mom leave the room, and then she was like, are you sexually active? And I was like, all right, let's do some LARPing and pretend that you don't already know the answer to that question. So I'd be like, no. And she'd be like, that's a great choice for you to make right now. As if I was like drowning in unwanted dick, pushing it away. But then, and this happened with multiple doctors, they would ask me if I was gay. And I kind of thought everyone's doctor did that, but I talked to some friends and no, not everyone's doctor does that. I was just clocked by the pediatrician before I even knew. The way one doctor phrased it, she was like, if you were sexually active, would it be with men or women or both? And I was like, well, not both at the same time. Jesus, what is this, my Tinder profile? All this to say, when I went to get my wisdom teeth out, They took my blood pressure, or my heart rate, and it was like 140, which is the normal heart rate for someone who is at the moment in the Hunger Games. And I really wanted so they gave me an oxygen mask, and I really wanted the oral surgeon to have a high opinion of me and not think I was gullible, so I was like, I get it. This is the anesthesia. And he was like, no, you freak, that's just the oxygen. The anesthesia is an IV. And I was like, oh. And I was like, what are you doing to me? I'm never getting away with this. Thank you.
Let's give it up again for Sarah.
That was great. I think Sarah should really go to the doctor so they can tell her how to do the dishes correctly, because it's an illness, and she should get some help.
Yeah, she fucks it up every time. Anyway, next up, looking so pretty in pink, it's Michael.
So we're gonna start tonight out with some call and response. So I say hello, you say hi. I really hope you are, because if you're not, you probably won't find this set very funny. So I'm very similar to many people in that I have taken Adderall. Who here's taken Adderall? Yeah. I'm very different though in that I need Adderall. Substance abuse is no joke. And my ADHD, it has, some ups, it has some downs. I don't really get the whole object permanence thing, but I do play a mean game of peekaboo. I also lose things all the time, but fortunately I've been able to kind of think of some systems to put in place that really help me figure it out. Like, I always keep my Husky ID in my left pocket, so I always know where it is, and if I don't, then I can just double tap and chat. Oh, shit. Okay. Let's move on. So, Husky IDs. They are very useful, and not just for cocaine. They can get me into pretty much any building on campus, but I didn't really know the full potential of it until one fateful day at CVS, where dreams are made. So, I needed to refill my aforementioned Adderall prescription, and I needed to authenticate myself. So I hands over to the lady my ID. I say, here, I'm Michael Weintraub. She says, that's a stupid ass name. Which was a little hurtful, but not that surprising. And she then asked me, would you like to pay for your $100 prescription medication with Husky dollars? It's like Big Pharma and Northeastern are collaborating to find new and inventive ways to drain my finances. It's remarkable. Now I want to talk about something that's very near and dear to my heart because it's been draining my soul for years, and that's YouTube. So they have this thing where they tailor which ads they show you based on your personality and your demographics. And despite years and years of watching, I have no idea who the fuck they think I am. This is a 100% real ad that I have gotten as a Jewish man. Have you heard the latest teachings of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ? He has a sequel, It's like the last Bible, but a lot more morally ambiguous. The Book of Mormon. Get yours today. Now that is targeted advertising. I mean, holy shit. I was so convinced I bought 5 of them right there just to prove a point. Stepping aside from my Christian values, I made a realization the other day that dating is really just interview with extra steps. Hear me out. So first, you got your application, which is either your personality or your online dating profile, and we both know your personality ain't cutting it. So you match on Tinder, you pick a time, you pick a place, not the aquarium though, it's a little fishy, and you kind of see if it's a good fit, you get to know each other. And as with any successful job interview, it ends in a kiss. Remember, the more tongue there is, the better. That's my time. Thank you, everybody.
Michael, you don't have a stupid ass name.
You know who does have a stupid ass name? Katie Doherty. It's a dumb name.
Next up, with an ensemble straight from my nightmares, it's Jake.
All right. Do you mind holding this for a second? Thanks. What's up, everyone? My name is Jake Mohammed, but tonight you may call me Funshine Bear. I thought this costume was appropriate because I have a fun sense of humor, and I'm also a furry. Religion. I have a weird history with religion. I had a bar mitzvah, but my dad's a Christian. So why is my last name Mohammed? Yo, I feel like I got fucked over by religion, okay? Because first, the Jews, they stole my Funshine foreskin. Then I was named after the Muslim prophet. And if you're a devout Catholic, you hate both those groups. I can't even walk into an airport without a fully grown man fondling my multi-ethnic Funshine nutsack. TSA, what are you looking for? My foreskin? They already took it! That got a little personal, I'm sorry. What bewilders me the most is how my name is Mohammed, but I'm so stereotypically white. You know, I look like the kind of white person who wears a fedora and says "milady," and I'm definitely the kind of white person who would wear this fucking costume, so that already says a lot within itself. How am I supposed to represent my Middle Eastern ancestors when I'm so white that I have to remind people that I do have black friends? Yeah, that's a fun one, right? All right, now I'm gonna tell a fun little wacky story about my grandma. So, one day I was smoking weed in my grandma's attic, and she burst in on me. But she's a really old lady, so it's more like she wobbled in on me, you know? And she said, this is my grandma accent, "Jake, it reeks of weed in here. Have you been smoking in here all day?" If you couldn't tell by the accent, she's Jewish. So my 87-year-old grandma just caught me smoking weed in her house, right? But I'm a good grandson, so I pass her the joint. She comes in and sits down. I was still smoking weed. She was still slowly dying. You know, and grandma starts complaining about her leg pain because you complain when you're old and Jewish and lonely. I wasn't listening because old people are boring and they scare me about my future. But then her eyes widened. She was smiling cheek to cheek, like a kid in a candy store, or like a pedophile in a preschool. I don't know, pick whichever one you want. And she said, we make eye contact, and she says, "They gave me drugs. Now I have Vicodin." And look, I've never really been that close with my grandma, but now I wish she would die slower. You know, I spend all day with her medicine cabinet. But to be serious, no, my grandma actually did pass away a couple of months ago, which is unfortunate, but I mean, I like to look on the bright side of things. I'm Funshine Bear. And, you know, it's not like she needs some medication anymore, you know? All right, well, that's all my time. My name is Funshine Bear, sometimes known as Jake Mohammed. You can find me at any and all furry conventions. Have a happy Halloween.
Pour one out for Grandma Funshine.
So true. Next up, it's my dad. No, it's just the costume. Give it up for Sam Newman!
I've recently taken up a new hobby. I've just been staring through the binoculars, taking pictures, squatting in bushes. Yeah, I started stalking. Did you think I was a bird watcher? I'm not a bird watcher, but I've been watching the bird watchers, and those guys are weirdos. Staring at oblivious birds? What's wrong with you? I know they don't care about being watched, but I care. Why aren't you watching me? If the bird watchers
Are watching the birds. And I'm watching the bird watchers.
then who's watching the bird watcher? The government. That's who. I found out recently from my research that the FBI has been tracking me, but not in the way I thought they were. I'm on their unwanted list. What? And not like they're gonna deport me. The US never deports white people. They just decided that I'm not worth their time. I could do anything now and they're not even watching. It's terrible. Everyone talks about wanting privacy. I know because I overheard my neighbor whispering it to his wife in bed. But have you thought about what it means to actually have privacy? They don't search my luggage. They don't check my browser history. Okay, that one's not so bad. They never even followed me back on Instagram. I need that one-to-one follower to following ratio somewhere. I certainly don't have it in real life. But you know who can never follow people back? Birds. Bird watching is weird. Think about it. If you specifically go to a bird's habitat, listen for its voice, watch it feed its children, pretend to be its mate, and do it all while wearing a safari hat, that's my typical weekday. Except with humans. You don't want to be like me. I don't want to be like me. I want to be like Obama. Every day, I stake out Barack's house and wait for his family members to come out from their habitats. If the government isn't going to watch me, then I'm going to watch them. And if I'm waiting for a while, I'll do an Obama call, just like a bird call. It's me in the front yard, next to the American flag. And that works great, until Barack comes outside. Barack, is that you? Yes. But I'm Barack. How did the birds ever fall for that? And why does the government let me keep watching Barry? I mean, it's good they do. The stalking is for my personal growth. I think I understated a little earlier. I don't just want to be like Obama, I want to be Obama. So if you'll excuse me, I have some research to do. It's not like the Obamas are gonna stalk themselves.
Thank you, Sam. I will be taping my webcams and boarding up my windows.
Now you're gonna see this costume a lot this year, but remember, she liked her before it was cool. It's Scarlet Witch, aka Delaney.
Woo!
Hi there. You guys like to drink? I don't. Do you guys like to smoke? That chair was more mellow, that tracks. Audience engagement, nailed it. Anyways, I should tell you a little bit about myself. I am half Jewish and half Chinese, which made for a very, very weird household growing up. My mom is Jewish, but she's not practicing. She's more of like a bagel Jew. Some of you know what I'm talking about. The others, Jewish, you did. And like any middle-aged Jewish woman, she loves to return things, One time we didn't even make it out of the parking lot before she decided she needed to go back and return something. Excuse me, I misspoke. We didn't even make it halfway to the car. She went from purchase to possession to return in less time than it takes an NUN student to tell you that they're an NUN. My dad is Chinese, which means he doesn't throw anything out, ever. The food in the fridge can legally be classified as a class 4 biohazard, but as long as you can tell what it used to be, it's fine. Just eat around it. I thought that orange juice was just naturally carbonated growing up. I am a bad driver, terrible driver, I hate it. Guess how many accidents I've been in?
3.
5, thanks. I really hate driving. I just think it's rude for people to assume that I'm a bad driver because I'm Asian and a woman, and that's just rude for them to be right. When I like to listen to music when I'm driving. I think it really sets the mood for my commute. When I'm running late, I like to listen to the Mario Kart theme. I don't know if you've done this. I recommend it. Makes you speed. I will leave late and then arrive early listening to the Mario Kart theme. When I'm driving through school zones, I like to listen to the Jaws theme. Some of you probably thought that was a joke about me driving slow and abiding by the law. The rest of you know that that was a joke about me hitting children with my car. I was crossing the street the other day. I was, just standing there pressing the crosswalk button. Wait. And I was like, whoa. The machine knows. It knows. And I just imagine this engineer just sitting in his little booth. And he's like, knowing that there would be idiots out there like me who are just going to press this button till kingdom come. And he was like, you know what would stop this? An emphatic wait. And he was right. So finally, it's my turn to cross the street, and I step into the road, and in the distance I hear, da 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 da. That's my time.
Thanks, Delaney. Some people are just bad drivers. Hey, Gabby, do you remember March 22nd, 2019?
I was determined to not be at fault for that. Thank you very much.
Next up, it's Eeyore. Oh, the L isn't silent. It's Leor.
Yeah.
Okay, brioche is anti-Semitic. We're moving on, okay? I'm not going to explain myself, that's it, okay? Alright, yes, my name is Leor, like...
Leor.
Yeah, there you go, you got it. Okay, I think it's really fucked up that we have a state called New Mexico. Okay, we stole that land from Mexico and we called it New Mexico. That's fucked up. That'd be like if I stole my roommate Evan's hamster and I named the hamster New Evan. And Evan can't see New Evan. He has to fill out a bunch of paperwork. It makes it really difficult. But our upstairs neighbors, they can come see him anytime they want. Okay, one time, actually pretty recently, I was at the train platform. And this older white lady comes up behind me. And she calls me a dyke. I mean, I know what I look like. But I was like, Miss, it starts with a K, actually. Like, I appreciate the effort, but just didn't quite stick the landing. I tried to correct her, but she didn't seem that interested. Must have been the space lasers, I don't know. So, anyway, on that topic, has anyone ever hung out with anyone who entertains conspiracy theories?
Woo.
Yeah? Oh, I'm so sorry. Someone really has. So, I was subletting a place from on the hill last year. My old roommates, I didn't know them super well. We were sitting out on the balcony and we were smoking. And David, one of the people I was living with, he takes a rip and goes, and he looks around, and he's like, guys, like, the Jews, I mean, like, how are they, like, everywhere? I know. I probably should have read the room a little better because my response was just to, like, look around and go, boo! He didn't think it was that funny. But yeah, I can't speak for all the Jews. I am not eating children. I know, just to clarify, My schedule's all booked up through December with controlling the weather. So if you need me, you can fill out my when to meet and I can see if I can arrange something, but right now I'm booked up. Okay. I think that food that is too hot is kind of like the great equalizer. Like, think about it. As horrible as a person Hitler was, bear with me. Okay, it's okay. You know that at some point he was having soup and he just had to go. Like, come on, it's a little comforting. Okay. Excuse me, sir. Or what's your name? Cole. Can I ask you a question? And it's gonna be personal, so feel no pressure to answer. You can hop out of this at any point. Okay? Do you manscape? You don't have to answer. It's okay. Here's the thing. With guys, we don't talk about it at all. It's super taboo. I didn't know what I'm supposed to do. Do I shave it all off? Do I give it a trim? Do I give it a fade? What am I supposed do I need to get a little cape? I'm already circumcised. I want to do that twice. So I didn't know, so I ended up getting a perm. I don't know. Okay, well, anyway, one last joke. So, my parents are dating again. Not each other. I know, it's unfortunate. But my dad's new girlfriend looks a little too much like my mom. That's not how you want to find out your dad has a type, that's weird. It's very uncomfortable. It's not a great conversation. But my mom's new boyfriend looks way too much like my older brother. Like, is it weird to feel left out? Like, I knew he was the favorite, but like, this isn't how I wanted to find out. Anyway, so the way I got back at them is I started hooking up with someone who looks like my grandmother. Anyway, thank you so much. I'm Lear Zipper.
Do men really not talk about manscaping?
Yeah, because like we talk about it.
We talk about
manscaping.
manscaping. Yeah, all the time. Where's Gabby?
Oh, Gabby's next.
Gabby's next.
We have to listen to Gabby talk all day, every day.
Yeah.
Give it up for Gabby.
Here's Gabby.
I don't know why Katie and Sarah are so mean to me. You know, I can make more friends. I'm so good at social interactions. They don't even know what they're missing. Let me give you an example. So one time in high school, I was having a conversation with someone, and I feel like I should preface this with the fact that we were not friends. We were like loose acquaintances at best. And so to get the ball rolling on this excellent social interaction, I was like, I like your socks. She was like, thanks, you know, really thinking that the interaction would end there. Very foolish. So I went on to say, are they new? And she was like, yes. And I said, I thought so. They're very clean. She later called my sister a cunt, but I think that's unrelated. Does everyone remember during like the beginning of the pandemic when everyone was going on walks all the time? It was like 2 weeks in and people who had never gone on a walk in their life were like, oh my god, I need to go on a walk every day. It's super important to me. So I was on a walk. And I was just, walking along the wood line and I look in and I see a figure. And so I take a couple steps in. And it is an 8-foot tall statue of Poppin' Fresh. I'm seeing some blank looks. So for those of you who are uneducated, Poppin' Fresh is the Christian name of the Pillsbury Doughboy. So the Pillsbury Doughboy, that's his title. His friends just call him Poppin'. But I think that the only thing weirder than seeing an 8-foot tall statue of Poppin' Fresh in the woods is coming back the next day and it being gone. So I have two theories. Theory 1, a local cryptid. That was no statue. It was Poppin' Fresh in the Poppin' Flesh. And he was just staying very still when I was looking at him. Theory 2, extreme viral marketing targeted at me specifically. If it was, it worked. I have not stopped thinking about Pillsbury products since. But the real reason is actually almost weirder than either of the two things I've postulated. So my mom saw the guy that owns the property like a couple weeks later and asked him about it, and he was like, oh yeah, we just like to take him out from time to time. What the fuck does that mean? Like for air? Where do they keep him normally? I mean, he's made of raw dough, so I think he should probably be refrigerated, but I don't know about that. And I would like to point out that this actually doesn't invalidate either of my other theories, because the way that statement was phrased suggests that he is in fact alive and lives in my neighbor's house. And maybe he decided that I was lacking in my Pillsbury purchases. So anyway, I see Poppin' Fresh every time I close my eyes, and he told me how I'm going to die. Thank you.
Yeah, Poppin' Fresh actually moved into our apartment a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah, he's a much better roommate than Gabby. Anyway, up next, it's just a regular guy. Give it up for Ethan!
So first of all, I found out this thing's being videotaped, and I didn't know that before, so if anyone here is with Oscar and wants to like skip the email chain or whatever, just like, we can talk after the show and it'll be fine. Okay, I want to start with something that's kind of serious. So, like, just in comedy in general, there's a lot of like negative stuff said about the Catholic Church, and just as someone who's been in those systems, you know, like I was in Catholic school for 12 years, I was in the Boy Scouts, I just want to say, like, I'm pretty sure y'all are just a little upset that I lost my virginity first. Yeah. Next I had something about the Beatles, but I decided to cut it for the sake of time. Speaking of cutting, did any of you guys, like, in high school listen to 21 Pilots? Yeah, so let me try to cast a wider net. Did anyone, like, have a stint where they learned, like, 2 songs on the ukulele? No? Okay, let's be honest, that guy, Tyler Joseph, the lead singer, very, very well suited to what he's doing. His lyrics are very intense. I don't think it would work in other careers. But for a second, let's try to imagine Tyler Joseph, lead singer of 21 Pilots, as an oncologist trying to comfort a cancer patient. I know it's hard to stay alive sometimes, but you just gotta try, cause I believe in you. And this guy is like dying of cancer. He does not want to hear that shit. Like, Jesus. And it just doesn't work, man. I feel like a lot of things don't work, like Beethoven's ears. Like that was pretty sad, right? Like, I feel like Beethoven not being able to hear is like having like the fattest fucking cock and just terrible erectile dysfunction. Like, you know, imagine, banana swinging around. You go to a party and you got a fat cock and, you wear the gray sweatpants because you know what you're doing. And you end up doing pretty well. You get a girl, you take her home and you pull it out and it's like a bouncy castle. Like, it's got a hole in it. Like, no one's having fun on that shit, I'm sorry. Like, dude, say what you want about average sized dick, but like, I've never looked like I'm trying to make balloon animals with my shit to make it work. Like, yeah, man. Like, there is like one disadvantage. Like, if you ever like hook up with a girl and you're talking after, and you're like, am I the biggest you've ever had? And she's like, oh, you were great, but, and she says the but, and you try to keep it cool. You're just like, ah! Yeah. This one's a true story. So my roommate had her girlfriend over, and her girlfriend's from out of state, and she has a little dog. And so we were in the living room, and they were in the kitchen cooking, and the dog's just like playing around on the rug, her head in it, and just like shaking around and stuff. And all I said was, wow, that dog really loves munching on that carpet. And my roommate's girlfriend goes, excuse me? And I'm like, no, sorry, the dog, not you, jeez. Yeah, I have a new way of making friends. Have you guys ever heard the aphorism, like, if you're late to a meeting or something, you just bring donuts and like everyone's chill with it, right? Yeah. So I do that with candy. Like, if I go to a club and I don't know anyone, I'll get like the bag at Walgreens with like the assorted shit, and I'll just like hand it out. BPD told me to stop doing it at parks and playgrounds, all right? Like, I don't get it either. I'm just like, oh, and they're like 500 feet. I'm like, okay, whatever, It's fine. All right, thanks, guys.
Gabby, I felt really targeted by that set.
Yeah, I know.
No, I meant because I used to listen to 21 Pilots.
Yeah, we can tell.
Okay, thanks.
Next up, in business casual, it's Andrew.
I have low blood sugar, so I'm a bit manic right now. Hi, I'm Andrew. I have a superiority complex, not in a narcissistic way, just like I think I'm better than everyone. And now I feel pretty superior because I'm standing on a stage and I get to talk to all of you, and you can just believe anything I say. When I walk down Huntington, I see about 10 to 15 kids almost getting hit by the T pretty much every 15 minutes. And that's like the highlight of my day because it makes me feel very secure about myself. But last night I was with some friends. We were just hanging out on the front steps. This guy walked up to us and he was like, okay, can I please have a couple bucks? Can you spare me a couple bucks? And it was pretty freezing cold, so we're like, all right, it's not a big deal. And we all tossed him a couple. And he came back minutes later, he was murdering this burrito that he just bought. And like we were just having a conversation about like our Thanksgiving plans, and he was kind of like, yeah. Like yeah, I think he very much wanted to be involved in this Thanksgiving conversation, and we're like, so we tried to be inclusive. We're like, all right, so what are you doing? And then he starts talking about his failed marriage and how all he wants to do is like see his kids for Thanksgiving, but he doesn't know if if his wife's gonna let him. So it was honestly pretty serious and depressing stuff. We were just sitting there trying to smoke a cigarette, and he's just talking about his divorce. And so we're just trying to be as supportive as we can to this person that we just met. He just keeps talking about his life. He keeps saying, like, I don't have anyone for Thanksgiving right now. Like, I think he expected us to organize something with him. So he's laying all this stuff down on us. And we try to start including because we're like, oh my God, this guy needs some help. He doesn't want to reach out to his ex-wife because he doesn't want to seem weak, is what he told us. So my friends and I, we're not sober. We're in no position to be giving this guy advice. We're like, yeah, man, you just gotta take life by the horns and just talk to your ex. Nothing hurts. It doesn't hurt to try, okay? And then, so we got him to calm down. He was pretty upset. And then this is where it got a little ridiculous. He asked to use one of our phones. He wants to call his ex-wife in front of us. We're already pretty sussed out by this guy who's just inserted himself into our conversation. But I figured it's 4 of us, it's 1 of him, and we're already really invested in this in this story. So I give him my phone. I'm like, okay, we can just tackle him if anything happens. And so he calls his ex-wife 4 times on his phone, and eventually she finally picks up. And me and my friends we're just looking at each other what is happening right now? Is this actually happening? He spends a long time just kind of rambling and gathering his thoughts. And it's clear that him and his wife, they're on thin ice with each other. You can hear him screaming at him on the phone. So it's not a pleasant conversation. We're all just hoping he walks away. Even though he has my phone, I'm just I would rather he just kind of went away with it. So it's been 10 minutes. He's talking to his wife, and we're just sitting there awkwardly. And I finally ask him is everything good? Are you okay? And he's like, yeah, just 1 more second. And he's talking to his wife saying, all right, I love you, bye. And then he says to me, yeah, I think I might be able to see my family for Thanksgiving, with this shit-eating grin on his face. And we're like, holy crap. So we're all we're high-fiving this guy. We're whooping it out yes, that's what happens when you take some initiative and call your ex-wife. So we were reacting like we had bet a lot of money on this guy. So that's a memory that I'm never gonna forget, because that never happened. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew, the not really Thanksgiving angel.
Up next, she's going to jump 15 buses so she can fight her stepdad. It's Hot Rod. I'm sorry, it's Felix.
Hey guys, so this is my first time ever doing stand-up, so I figured I'd tell you a little bit about myself. The first thing is that I was born and raised here in Boston by Brazilian immigrant parents, which does upset me a little bit. I mean, before they came here, they could have chosen any place to go, but they saw this little state hanging off the edge of a crippling nation where seasonal depression is all year round and people talk too loud. And they were like, yes, this is where I need to be. I need to go somewhere where I have less human rights and where everyone will make fun of me for my accent. The thing about immigrant parents is that either they give too much of a shit about you or they don't know where you've been for the past 2 weeks. Try to guess which one I got with this next story. So when I was little, my parents found a diary that I hid in my room. And in it, I had a list of the names that I wanted to give to my future kids. The names were Justice, Destiny, and Drake. And so my parents still haven't dropped that to this day. But honestly, I think coming from Brazil, they were just surprised that you could be named something other than Maria. But because of their accent, they pronounce Drake like Drakeut. So instead of Justice and Destiny, I've decided to name my other kids Lowell and Framingham. They got mad at me when I made that joke to them, but I'm sorry yet again. It's your fault you're here. Growing up in the Boston area, there's construction on every corner where people manage to get graffiti on the walls before they're even built, and crackheads that for some reason cannot move past city borders. They're like the NPCs in video games that just stand on the same spot every day, yell the same shit at you when you walk past them. I like to imagine that when they hit the border of the city, they start to glitch and malfunction. Where I live, you'll also find a lot of diversity. There's a lot of overpriced cafes filled with ukulele-playing 30-year-olds, and right outside is a group of 15-year-old aspiring SoundCloud rappers fighting their demons. Another thing about me is that I'm a first-year student here, and I'm a commuter, so basically I hate my life. Something I've learned while commuting is that the T, surprisingly, has standards when it comes to fashion. I mean, the clothes that you wear might look cute when you're walking on campus, but not when you're sitting in between a construction worker and your professor at 7 a.m. I mean, you get a lot of stares if you wear something other than a t-shirt and jeans. I mean, you could be a Northeastern 10, but a T -3. They're harsh. I also have a little sibling. Anyone who has little siblings know that when your parents say no, they go to you. So one time my brother asked my mom if he could do Halloween, and she said no, because there's bad people that drug the candy, which I don't think people actually do that. But he turned to me and asked, and I just gave him a lollipop laced with NyQuil, and he left me the fuck alone. Speaking of Halloween, the last thing I'd like to share about myself is that I think that Halloween is a conspiracy. I mean, I would always see the glamorous movie scenes of kids in the suburbs walking around with their pillowcases filled to the brim, but not once have I ever had a kid knock on my door asking for candy. And when somebody does knock, it's Jehovah's Witnesses, and I close that door real quick. All right, thank you.
Katie, what do you wear when you're riding the T?
I wear my official, regulation, non-counterfeit MBTA employee uniform. Up next, we don't know how old he is. We don't know if he ever learned how to read. Please welcome Jared.
How's everyone doing tonight? I appreciate Mr. Chicken coming out. Pretty ballsy this close to a Popeyes. I respect it. You know, I may have hit your sister for lunch today, but the chicken sandwich is really good, so I'm not going to fully apologize for that one. I guess if PETA hasn't struck me down now, I guess I'll start telling jokes. I'm a bit of an awkward kid. I don't really know how to respond to certain phrases. What's up is one that gives me a lot of trouble. I remember one time I asked my dad for advice on how to answer this question. I was like, yo, Pops! Just kidding, I'm not that confident. I was like, hello, sir? What do I do when one of your old dad friends asks me what's up? Because I don't know how to respond to that. And he looked at me in the eyes and he gave me the best advice I've ever got in my life. He said, just say nothing much, son. I think I took that too far to heart though, because now, like, no matter what happens, I could walk outside of my door, a meteor could chop off the tip of my dick, you know, fucking Ted Cruz could ride around on a rocket ship, you know, escaping Texas from the winter or whatever. And then I could cross a corner and my friend could ask me, what's up, man? And I would just go, nothing much. There's a lot of cliches that I don't like. I don't like never take no for an answer and treat people the way you want to be treated. These are really good in business, but it's terrible dating advice. If my friend told me he's going on a date and he's like, here's the plan, man. I'm gonna go on a date, we're gonna have a nice dinner, I'm gonna take her back to my place, and I'm gonna treat her the way I want her to be treated, and I'm not taking no for an answer. I'd immediately make sure that date doesn't happen, report that guy to the police, and never talk to him again. So I guess the golden rule is not so golden. Another issue I have is with the statement that the bystander is just as bad as the bully. I've never found this to be true, especially as a lazy person. Doing nothing should never be punished. I've never heard on the news, like, local bank robbery, 2 men armed came into the bank and 53 others were arrested for doing absolutely nothing at the crime scene. Like, that just doesn't happen in life. I guess what I'm really trying to let you guys know about me in the set is that I'm really trying to become an alcoholic. I don't really have any, like, deep sorrow that I need to, like, hide or anything like that. I just want attention and praise. I want to get sober. I want to get the 10-day badge. I want to get the 100-day badge. Maybe even the year badge. Have a big celebration, drink at my 1 year sober party. You know, have 2 birthdays that year. It sounds awesome. So we're getting there. I watch a lot of YouTube, and I get the same ad as that kid Michael got about the Mormons. And it made me sad, you know? Because the Mormons, they used to go to Africa, they used to go on these missions, they used to try and convert people from different countries around the world. Now they're just on bikes in a sunset in a 15-second YouTube ad with their thumbs up like, join us, come on. I'm like, come on, you're slacking, Mormons. You guys are bystanders out here. Another thing I watch a lot on YouTube is Hall of Fame commencement speeches. I really like those. They always go on them. They always go, I hope my grandma's looking down at me. I know she is right now. I'm so proud, and I know she's looking down. And I'm always a little paranoid. I'm usually high when I'm watching YouTube, and I'm like, is my grandma looking down at me right now? Like, do I get to choose when she's looking down? You know, I jerk off a lot. Like, am I just sitting there like, Grandma, is that you? It's a little bit fucked up, but that's the only way I come now. Grandma, thank you. Okay, that was my time. Sorry about that last one.
See Jared after the show. Ask him what's up. The answer may surprise you.
Next up, I think he's wearing a costume, or it might just be a look. It's Tommy.
I had a whole week to come up with an opener for my set, but I'm lazy. So I think it might be fun if we all try and guess what my costume is. Sound good? Yeah? Alright, cool.
Woo!
Any guesses? Slutty accountant. So with the opener gone, I had to get tested for chlamydia recently. And the first part of that appointment is where they run you through the symptoms. And it kind of has that placebo effect where when they say it, you think you have it. So they go, does it burn when you pee? And I go, That was like 5 hours ago. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. I kind of think it did burn last time I peed. Are you? Do you have any pain in your crotch? And I'm kind of sitting there like. Now that you mention it, it feels like someone just dropped a bowling ball in my lap. This shit hurts everywhere. And the final one is, are you experiencing any penile discharge? Oh my god, what's coming out of my dick? So I clearly had my composure. And then the second part comes where they run you through the tests. And the first one's easy. Can you pee in this cup? Yeah, I got you. I can pee anywhere. Toilet, tree, face. Can do. Second one's a bit rougher. I'm gonna have to put this swab down your throat, see if there's any chlamydia in your throat. Well, I usually wait for like the third date, but I guess we could skip dinner. And then the kicker. I'm gonna leave the room, and you're going to give yourself an anal swab. Look, Doc, I don't know if you realize this, but putting strange objects up my ass is how I ended up having to get tested for chlamydia. And then they walk you through it. So, they hand you the world's largest Q-tip, and halfway through this thing is a small black line. And that is where it is brittle, because they don't want to touch your shit, so you have to snap it off in a test tube. Well, Doc tells me this, leaves the room, left off a key piece of information, which is how far up my ass I put this thing. And for all you anal virgins, your asshole is a hell of a lot deeper than you fucking think. So, do you realize how terrifying it is? To be leant over a doctor table, giving yourself an anal swab, and hear... I will save you the story of how I got it out, as well as the image of what it looked like when I did get it out, and you are all better off for it. So, why did I decide to tell this story to a room full of strangers who I go to school with? Well, in my head, I thought it'd be a great way to destigmatize the experience of getting tested for STDs and possibly having an STD. What I think I just did was make sure that no one here will ever get tested for chlamydia in their fucking life. But if I could leave you with a few things, it would be this. Use condoms. My test came back negative because I used a condom. Get tested regularly. It's better for everyone. Make sure the shit doesn't spread. And, if you will, in honor of my disease, please clap.
Hey Katie, I just heard that the UHCS STI testing line just totally cleared out. You can just walk right in.
Coincidence. Up next, he might be the tallest performer of the evening, but we don't know because we didn't double check. Please give it up for Toby.
All right, happy Halloween, guys. What's going on? Here's a Halloween tip. If you find a razor blade in your candy, eat it. You won. Yeah. So I'm an engineer. Any engineers here? Just cool, guys. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm on co-op right now. It's pretty nice. I'm at an engineering company, obviously, but you know, it sounds good, but you know, I'm an engineer in the same way like a vending machine is a barista. You know, it's really just a title thing. I'm more of a salaried robot for the most part. I told my roommate that joke. He said, yeah, but vending machines don't show up an hour and a half late and still drunk from the night before. You signed with the machines already, dude? Come on, a little early in the game. Yeah, I got the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. You know, the stats aren't great, but you know, J&J vaccine is nice because, you know, if you meet anyone who also had the vaccine, you already have you know, common ground because they probably also have coronavirus. Yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of people aren't getting vaccinated because they, you know, don't trust the government, and you know, there's problems with that, but I get it. One of my favorite government ideas is the concept of the court-appointed attorney. You know, like if you could be up against life in prison, and like if you don't have the money, you get a guy who took the bar exam in his car. You know, it's like yeah, you get him, you get the verdict, and he's like, there's good news and there's bad news. The bad news is you're gonna be executed by next week, but the good news is you're going to the same prison I got my law degree in, so you'll love it. I've been getting older recently. I'm like, when you get older, things get less fun. The other week I realized that going up an escalator the wrong way is fun until you realize it's just what a stairmaster is, that shit old people do so their bones don't disintegrate. I think if I invented the stairmaster, I wonder how many people a year got a heart attack from my invention, because it's like a fun cross section of exercise where living past 60 and being in a head-on car accident are equivalent conditions for using your machine. With the amount of old people that die from falling down the stairs, I think it's awesome that they make them go on a machine that's just infinite stairs. Switch it up. There's a lot of people that once I told that joke, I realized that a lot of girls use Stairmaster because it works in their ass. So if you're a fan, you spit in my mouth. I don't know. Actually, no, don't do that. I'm gonna no-and that joke. All right, cool. So quarantine was tough. People are getting used to, going out soon, but, we really just started with this, and, it really wasn't that long ago that, I was just living with solely my roommate, so he had to be, my best friend, my worst enemy, because I need balance in my life, I can't just go with one. But, I've been plotting, a lot, and it's a lot of fun. It's not the greatest hobby, but I've came up with some pranks to do on him, and I've never done them. But if you have a significant other, roommate, or child that you want to do these on, it's great. So first one is, you get a warm glass of piss, and in the middle of the night you just put it on the bedside table to see if they get parched in the morning. That's the R. Kelly alarm clock right there. Yeah, it only gets worse. There's another one. This is just more of a COVID prank. It's a little topical. If a mask they're gonna use the next day, what you want to do is you want to in the middle of the night you want to take that mask. You want to draw with a pencil, just lightly draw a little mustache in the front, and then you want to pull your pants down, bare ass, just fart as hard as you can on the inside of the mask. It's not a great prank as far as there's no payoff to it at all, but it's fun knowing that you've just shat in their lungs for 8 hours when they get back. All right, that's me. Thank you.
Hey, Katie, as my roommate, have you ever pranked me?
No. Anyway, up next, he told us his name is Craig.
All right, so let's practice a little audience participation tonight. When I say the word rope, I need everyone in the audience to shout your favorite fruit, all right? Rope.
Banana.
Terrific, you guys are gonna do fantastic. Is anyone in the audience named Dylan tonight? Yeah, well, there goes about 93% of my set, so we're gonna see where this goes. Does anyone like card tricks?
Woo!
Card tricks? Get over yourself. Hello, as they introduced me, my name is Craig Reelman. I'm legally required to tell you that I'm a registered voter. I was born in Honolulu, Michigan. My social security number is 361073163. So now you all get to be Craig. Enjoy my porn addiction. Some of you may be wondering why I'm still wearing sunglasses. I'm gonna let you keep wondering. Alors, comment vous sentez-vous ce soir? Des problèmes? Qu'est-ce qu'il y a le problème? All right. Which one of you corn cobs replaced my water with French juice? No, that's fine. It's fine. I'll wait. What was that? motherfucker Dylan. Anyway, I really don't have any practical skills, and Cutco has stopped returning my calls. Well, maybe that's a bit disingenuous. I can name at least 3 countries in Europe. I mean, I'm not going to. I think everyone knows. No, but I did found a startup. I have abducted 20 opossums and forced them to watch Big Bang Theory 24/7. We have reached a breakthrough. One has a PhD in thermodynamics. The other 19 have murdered a small child, which makes 7 this month. My sister doesn't think this counts as real work. Well, I just think she's full of shit. And I know shit. I take 40 horse laxatives a day. 10 of which are right in there, and I can tell you, it's working. No, but in all seriousness, she has no room to talk. Let me list off some of the things that she's got me from her work. Decorative steak knife, gently used peanut butter, aggressively used Scientology indoctrination videos. And don't even get me started on Scientology. I'm gonna take a call real quick. Listen, I'll get the money by Friday. You don't have to take the other nut. Oh. Well, last time I checked, I thought I had a right to joke about whatever I wanted to on this stick. Message received. I would like to take this time to... Sorry, I don't have my reading glasses on. I'd like to take this time to sincerely apologize for speaking ill of the Church of Scientology, and personally invite everyone here in the audience tonight to take a free personality test at any participating Scientology center. Praise Zeno.
Well, thanks a lot, Craig. Now we gotta pick up all these fucking cards. So this would be a great time to go to the bathroom. Be back in 5 minutes. I mean it, it's intermission. Rope! I told you they wouldn't remember. Ah, someone remembered. Thank you. Up next, after our intermission, it's a hero and a half show. Welcome to the stage, Zanier.
What's up, everyone? I'm Zanier Mitta. Anyone recognize that name? Yeah? Well, airport security always does. It's not easy growing up Muslim in America. I got my first TSA check when I was 5 years old. They pulled me to the side, they swabbed my hands, and then they put the swab into this machine and it read 80% Cheeto dust. I'm like, yeah, that does check out. And that's crazy because, you know, growing up, when I was 5 years old, I didn't know how to read a book, but I knew how to recognize the enemy, and so I was sassy with TSA. And you know, every one group of people has that other group that they get a little uncomfortable around. For Muslims, it's TSA. For black people, it's the cops. For white people, it's black people. And there wasn't anything illegal on my hands that day. I don't know what else they were expecting from a 5-year-old. I didn't get recruited by ISIS until I was at least 7. But the crazy thing is that the scares of TSA like end once you cross the line. So like I'm nervous, I'm like I'm gonna get checked, whatever. And then the second I get past the officers, I feel like the coolest person in the world. Like I get into this mental state where I know I don't have anything on me, but I'll start acting like I do. Like I'll be like, you didn't find anything on my hands, but you didn't catch this C4 in my backpack. Or I'll like try to scare the people around me, so like I'll take a seat in the plane, and then I'll just hold my backpack across my chest. And then I'll just be like, beep. Beep. Beep, 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 beep. Reach inside, just pull out like a bag of Sun Chips. I did introduce myself to somebody recently and I said I was Muslim. And his first instinct was to be like, oh, some of my friends are Muslim. And I was like, yes! We can trust him. he's worthy, and now we can like continue with this friendship now that I have this crucial bit of information. You know what's crazy though, because I'm Pakistani and he was Indian, so the hatred is a little more deeply rooted. And this past weekend, the two countries had a cricket game, and Pakistan won for the Pakistan won for the first time since the history of that league. And see, when these games happen, it's like the biggest thing ever. It's like Avengers Endgame, but it's just a random week in the middle of the year. And see, Indians aren't allowed in Pakistan, in Pakistan, and Pakistani players aren't allowed in India, so every time they do play, they just throw it in like the UAE. And it's just the funniest thing because it's like the Celtics and the Lakers are having a playoff game, Game 7, but it's just in like Topeka, Kansas. And so my Indian friends would come up to me after and they would congratulate me and they would shake my hand. I noticed their grip was a little too tight. So I'd mess with them, I'd be like, you know, we won the game today, but we're gonna win the war on Kashmir tomorrow. If you're Indian, you probably didn't like that joke. If you're Pakistani, you probably also didn't like that joke. But I do love Indians though. Every time I meet somebody who's Indian, I'm like, oh, some of my friends are Indian. My best friend though is actually Indian. He's out here tonight, so shout out to him. I remember when we first met, his name is Rishi, and I saw his name on the roster and I was like, she sounds cute. First day of school comes around, she was a he, and he was still cute. And you know, I pull up on the first day of school and we did a little head nod. I'm like, what's up? Second day comes around, we do it again. What's up? Third day of school, he comes up to me and he's like, hey, you're Zanir, right? And I look around and I lean back and whisper, I'm like, are you from TSA? Thank you, I've been Zanir Mitta, thank you.
To me before. I see a name and I think it's girl and it turns out it's a guy on Tinder. It's always a disappointment.
It's really sad for you, Sarah. I'm sorry. Up next, it's Matthew.
Ads are so dumb nowadays, man. Like, you know what I really can't stand? Those unskippable ads. Like, why don't you try to fight for my attention like a real ad agency, you cowards? You're gonna make me sit there and watch it. That being said, I've seen some dumb ads made just to try to capture my attention. Like this one time I saw this ad for a toothbrush, and within the first 3 seconds, I already knew it was bullshit. Because the ad starts and it goes, this revolutionary new toothbrush was created by a well-known dentist. I was like, whoa, 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 stop right there. Name one fucking dentist. One, I can't even name my own dentist. Sir, can you name your dentist? He can't name his dentist. You expect me to believe that they're a well-known dentist? No chance. There's not, no, it's not. And it was an expensive toothbrush too. For only $30. $30! Who has this kind of money? Who is blowing the toothbrush bans? Like, you know what I can do with $30? You know how many Wendy's 4 for 4s I can get with $30? You want me to get a toothbrush? Nah, but growing up, you know, it wasn't that bad. We had this nice house, and it was in this really nice neighborhood. And the reason I know it was a good neighborhood was because raccoons frequented the area. And, you know, it's like they had a whole city of food to choose from, and they chose our neighborhood type shit. So these raccoons, they would rummage through our trash, and they would love my house. For whatever reason, love my house. Every other day, they're in my house. And I'm like, man, like, I couldn't figure out why. So I came up with this theory, and here's my theory. Listen closely. I think it's right. So basically, I think I'm just too lazy. Like I was the last person on the whole block to take down my trash to the curb on trash collection day. So obviously, these raccoons, they have their nightly conferences. Big boss raccoon's like, all right, what are we eating? Other raccoon's like, I don't know what's open, man. And then third raccoon's like, well, that Spanish place is the only thing that's open right now. Yeah, that's right. My trash was like it was like the raccoon Taco Bell. You know, open late, filthy, questionable quality. And but then we moved And our new neighbors, when they come to me on the first day, they tell us, you know, out here we don't get raccoons. We got bears. I'm like, bears? You tell I saw a raccoon like 1 every 3 times I went to take out the trash. You're telling me there's a 33% chance I'm getting bodied every time I take out the trash? 33% chance I gotta pull out some Christopher Robin shit? Like, hey man, let's just be friends. How did he pull that shit off? Like, really? But no, growing up Hispanic was tough. That's for sure. Because my parents were really strict. Like, my dad had this thing where he didn't like when other people cut my hair besides the family barber. Like, he didn't trust it for some reason. Like, there was some sort of underground barber ring that he needed to be included in. And he goes, I one day asked him for some money for a haircut. And he goes, how about I make you an offer? I'm like, man, like, I thought he was gonna let me choose where I want my hair to be cut. You know, he made me an offer like we were on deal or no deal. He goes, how about you can take the 20 and go get your hair cut, or you can keep the 20 and let me cut your hair. And I'm like, dude, this man has never cut hair a day in his life. But I want that 20. So obviously I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. Fuck it. Set him up. Roll the dice. Let's go. And to this day, I've never received a worse cut. Like, I'm talking, I was in math class, people in math class calculating the slope of my hairline. I'm in art class, people in art class are like, damn, that's abstract. So I got out of the chair so mad, I was heated. I'm like, man, give me my money. He gonna say, nah. Bro, that's 5 Wendy's 444s right there that you're depriving me of. So mad, man. Still got some time. Just wanted to point out, I'm a lifeguard for Halloween this year, but I don't know how to swim. So, like, my whole life is a joke, really, if you think about it. Thank you so much. My name is Matthew Sanchez.
Personally, I love a Wendy's 4 for 4. Speaking of, who wants to hear some wisdom from the goddess of love?
Woo. Well, too bad. She's gonna tell jokes instead. It's Mia.
Alright. For being such an inclusive brand, Starbucks has names I feel like I just shouldn't be allowed to say. The last time I go up there, my friend goes to the barista and she says, "Hi, can I get a tall, white, blonde, mocha vanilla latte?" I literally sound like Hitler. "Hi, yes, can I get a venti Aryan latte and a Mein Kampf cappuccino with extra cold foam, please?" Maybe that's how Starbucks should tell you your drink is ready. Instead of saying Mia, they could be like, "Hi, yes, can I have the small, flat, white, blonde vanilla latte, please?" It's fucking ridiculous. That's why I go to Dunkin'. Even though the only people who go there are people who hate themselves and white dads. Fortunately for you, I fit both categories. Not only do I go to Dunkin', but I get my hamburgers there, my haircut at Supercuts, and I know every single word to Island in the Sun by Weezer. Proudly. Back home, I used to play pool in random bars. I was the only woman and person in there under the age of 40. I used to have to try and wear my band t-shirts so the old men thought I was one of them. And I'd go in there, I'd get the same questions every time, you know. "Are you tall enough to drive here? Is that a fake ID?" And every woman's absolute favorite: "Are you single?" Am I single? Back in your day, people smoked cigarettes in hospitals and seatbelts were optional. How did you live long enough to ask me this? What life do you picture for us anyways? You want me to come in and cook you dinner dressed in a mini skirt while you smoke a pack of Marlboro Reds and read the Sunday paper? Sir, you see this? This is an iPhone. If I push the buttons on it with my finger, I can use it to call the police. I didn't actually tell him that. I just told him that he reminded me of the milk in my fridge. He was a little past his expiration date. Being this tall is fun for about 5 minutes. Have you ever seen a short person in a mosh pit? Yeah, no, you probably haven't because we literally get lost. The last one I went to was one of those alt-style basement concerts that kids with piercings and dyed hair were calling really underground. The crowd went wild, and then it went kind of fuzzy. Did any of you guys play Wii Sports Resort as a kid? Do you remember 100-pin bowling? It was just like that. People just fell backwards onto each other. My head hit the corner of a wall. My soul left my body. The questions of the universe, no longer a concept. Fear of death, gone. And I was suddenly okay with being religious. That's how you know I was fucked. The guy from Wii Sports Resort would have jumped out of a hat and been like, nice throw. When the crowd started moving back and forth, I lost control of my own destiny. I was being tossed around like a dog's chew toy, flailing out of control like a 7-year-old thrown in the deep end at the YMCA. And then I saw it. I saw my life, flashing before my eyes, every picture, every memory. To End of the Game by Weezer? Okay. I honestly thought I was dead, but then I remembered where I was. Unfortunately, I was still alive, just concussed and void of all my other emotions. I think I had more to tell you, but it's gone now, along with half of my core memories. Thanks.
So you know how Mia said she got lost in the mosh pit?
Yeah.
God, I wish that would happen to you.
Disrespectful. So next up is the first but not the last Dan to perform tonight. It's Dan Meltzer.
I'm going to start off with an unpopular opinion. I like waiting on hold. So, the reason why is because, the longer you wait on hold, the nicer the automated voice becomes. So you start out, and like the first, I was calling Northeastern the other day, it starts out pretty bad. You get ring ring, I hate you, you're going to wait here for an hour. But then, it actually, slowly gets better. About, 30 minutes, it's, slightly less antagonistic, starts apologizing. But after an hour, the automated voice is great. It's please forgive me, senpai. I'm so sorry for insulting you, Daniel-san. And when the person finally comes on, I'm just disappointed that I lost my waifu. Is it Stockholm Syndrome, or is it true love? Speaking of Stockholm Syndrome, who here loves dogs? So I'd say that I love most of a dog. Not most dogs, all dogs, but most of them. Specifically the parts that aren't their bladder. If you've ever house-trained a dog, you'll know what I mean here. So, you gotta think of it from their perspective. It's gotta be, just really confusing to be a dog. I go to the bathroom in the outdoor bat toilet, and I get all this good praise and love and all that, but then I use the kitchen toilet, and everyone's just so angry at me. And it extends to other things, my humans bring me fresh meat, and I give them licks, and I love them, and all that, but then I bring them fresh meat, and they don't give me a lick at all. It's just so unsquirrel. So, after a long day of cleaning the kitchen toilet, I sometimes enjoy making tea for myself, right? So I was actually okay, so except for that tea made from ground beans, it's not to my taste. In any case, refried beans belong with tacos. So I was at my grandma's house the other day, and she had this really interesting tea box. It had this chocolate tea. It was not just any chocolate tea, but it was chocolate smooth move. Actually, I didn't say that right. It was chocolate smooth move. Alright. So we made a double strength for both of us. The move-in was really smooth in that day. Not like that, she's my grandma. So, fun fact. Did you know that they make tea that contains senna leaf, a natural laxative? The move-in was a little too smooth in that day. Kitchen toilet got a lot of use. Speaking of my grandma, I do love her, but she's one of those like Q conspiracy folks. She says she's always getting these tips from Q straight into her ear, like whispering it like deep inside her ear, taking a whole chunk of earwax with it. It's kind of gross. But it really just confirms my suspicions that like the character of Q is really just a shtick. Thank you.
I mean, the last time I called Northeastern, they didn't put me on hold. Sounds like a you problem. Oh my god.
Oh god.
Oh my god, Gabby.
We're so sorry
Oh my
for you,
god.
Katie. Don't kill us.
Please don't kill us. Oh,
it's
it's Katie. You bitch.
Who's Katie?
Can you hold this? Thank you. You guys seem pretty tense still, so we're just gonna start off with a couple icebreakers. Raise your hand if you go to Northeastern. Woo! Oh my god, no, wait, me too. Raise your hand if you've ever written porn. Got a few out there, very cool. We got a lot in common. Raise your hand if you've ever written porn for a job application. Shocking, shocking. This is a true story. A couple months ago, I applied to this ghostwriting position for this app where it's kind of like they had these stories and you could choose which option you wanted to happen. So kind of like Episode, but for porn. And then I learned later that the more racy, more spicy options were behind paywalls. So it was kind of like Patreon, but for Episode, but for porn. So they kind of just reinvented OnlyFans. So for the job, they gave me a writing prompt. I gave them a very sexy PDF in exchange, but I did not get the job. And I think I know why. I didn't get the job because I wrote the man as, say it with me, I wrote the man as the bottom. Thank you. You guys are way more ready for feminism than the porn industry, I guess. But the bar is pretty low. Speaking of feminism, did anyone else ever watch America's Next Top Model? Woo! Okay. So for those not familiar, every episode of America's Next Top Model would start off with Tyra Banks going, "You want to be on top?" The episode would go on and end with Tyra Banks terrorizing so many young women. And God, I wanted to be on this show so badly. I wanted to be on top. But Tyra Banks says you have to be 5'8" to be a model, and I'm only 5'7", and I think we can all agree that the only reason my 15-year-old mid-puberty self would not be America's Next Top Model is because of the 1-inch height difference. Definitely. So every season on the show, the girls would get makeovers, which was kind of fun. It would mostly consist of like cutting and dyeing your hair and having mental breakdowns, as one does in real life too. So there was this one girl though, where they forced her to shave her teeth and permanently widen her gap tooth. That's true and fucking insane. But on top of that, a really big like draw of the show, like one of the things they pushed really hard was to smize. To smile with your eyes. Am I doing it? I think I got it down. But if the whole reason, like the whole point of the show is that you gotta learn to smize, who the fuck is gonna see her gap tooth? What was the reason? Right? Well, I saw it. I saw it and I replicated it. You guys think I was born this way? No. Manual labor into this. The tension, I feel like some of you guys actually believe me on that, and that makes me feel like I'm coming off as way more insecure than I wanted to. Oh, this is going great. So anyway, in my other spare time, when I'm not thinking about how badly I want to top Tyra Banks, thank you. I go to Northeastern's chess club. Woo! Got some moves in the crowd. At least I won a couple times until I realized it's Nothing like the Queen's Gambit? Which is shocking because like all the ingredients were there, like I was the only girl there. I look just like Anya Taylor-Joy. We can all agree on that. And I also take performance-enhancing drugs. Thank you, Adderall. So like I said, all the elements were there, but it turns out just knowing how the horsey moves doesn't make you a chess prodigy. Yeah, pretty tough out here. So I guess I learned that I should stick to porn. Writing! Porn writing! Thank you, that's my time.
We do have a YouTube channel, yeah.
Yeah, Katie did a lot of research for that job application in our apartment without headphones.
Up next, he's been hard at work building ISEC 2. It's Patrick.
That means a lot. Fuck these people for leaving early. What's up, guys? I'm Patrick. I'm from Connecticut. I hate that place. Connecticut's a weird place. I played high school baseball with this kid who used to tell people, don't kill yourself, but think about it. And I love that, because that was his way of telling someone if they were really getting on his nerves, be like, you're fucking up, you're being a real dickhead right now. But it's not really an issue, but it might, so just rethink your entire existence. So I kept that one in the back pocket. I don't know about you guys, but COVID was pretty awesome for me. I'm a depressed stoner, so all I did was get high alone in my room all day and pat myself on the back, tell myself I was the greatest human being ever. I listened to Twitter, right, so I didn't leave my house. I shopped from local entrepreneurs. I didn't kill any grandparents, never caught COVID. Best person ever. I do spend a lot of time on my phone. I work in social media, so, but I never wanted to be that person who DMs someone a tweet or a TikTok and says me, because I fucking hate those people. But here I am, averaging 12 hours of screen time a day with a long distance girlfriend, so you can guess how that's going. My girlfriend's the best though. Long distance is hard. We found the best way to communicate. It's like such a big life hack. If anybody doesn't know it, you just send TikToks back and forth. Basically expresses every emotion you could ever need. My girlfriend's an angel. She's way better than me in every single way. She is actually the only girl I've ever met who doesn't poop. She lives up to it. I've been telling her my poop schedule now for about like 6 months, so I'm pretty open, and she hasn't said jack shit about her going number 2, so me being insecure, I had to ask, I was like, why don't you tell me when you poop? And her being her, she goes, ew, why are you so obsessed with poop? So yeah, I'm never gonna go to the bathroom in front of her ever again. My girlfriend puts up with a lot. She has to deal with a lot of my bullshit, and it's a lot of fucking crazy shit going in my head. The other day, I was telling her about a nightmare I had where I was stuck being friends with these homophobic stoners, and they would spend all day just being repulsed by the rainbow flag or same-sex couples holding hands, and then they would go back to their room at the end of the day, and I'd be with them, and they'd go to relax, like get with their bong, sit down. And I was terrified. I'm not a homophobe. And I just had to tell myself, I was like, dude, don't kill yourself, but think about it. That's my time. Thank you.
Hey, Katie, you don't poop, right?
No, do you?
No, of course not.
Of course. Anyway, next up, the 5th performer of the evening with 2 first names. That's a fucking weird coincidence. Please welcome Ryan Martin.
Thank you so much. It's actually 3 first names. I just want to set the record straight. It's Ryan Francis Martin. Please correct it for next time. Happy Halloween, everyone! Nice, nice. Yeah, so I love Halloween, and I think that love comes from an obsession I had in 2nd grade. I was obsessed with Goosebumps books. Did anyone here read Goosebumps when they were younger? Yeah. Fuck the Magic Treehouse, am I right? So for those of you who didn't have a childhood, Goosebumps is a classic horror series from the 80s for children. The title comes from the idea that, ooh, the stories are so scary, you get goosebumps. I don't know about you guys, I don't get goosebumps when I'm scared. When I'm nervous, yes. When I'm cold, 100%. When I'm aroused, all the time. But never when I'm scared. But I think I see where the confusion came in. Emotions, they overlap. I know personally for me, whenever I am scared, I am also aroused. It's really a problem. So Goosebumps includes some classic stories like The Cuckoo Clock of Doom, about an evil cuckoo clock, ooh. Go Eat Worms, about evil worms, ooh. And How to Kill a Monster, about the assassination of Bin Laden. I'm kidding, it's about JFK. A lot of these stories, though, I find are still applicable. For instance, the one titled All Day Nightmare feels like a reflection of my life here at Northeastern. Someone really related to that one. And the story, I Live in Your Basement, has taken on a new terrifying meaning ever since my brother graduated from art school. Shout out to Bobby. When I was younger, my favorite Goosebumps character was Slappy the Dummy. He was a ventriloquist doll that was haunted and came to life. And I think he was my favorite because, he gave validity to my repressed fear of the Muppets. I'm sorry, but Kermit the Frog? Fucking creepy when you're 6 years old. Oh shit! Sorry, I thought I saw him over there. But no, Slappy the Dummy, he was cold, he was uncaring, he was wooden, he was just a monster, and he would berate and belittle and manipulate and gaslight and emotionally abuse anyone he was with. Just like my ex. Hey yo. At least he didn't sleep with other people. So, the reason I brought up Slappy is because I wanted to tell you all about the first time I did live comedy back in 2nd grade. So I had a teacher at the time who was, well, I guess she was a masochist, because she decided to put on a talent show with a bunch of talentless 2nd graders. Me, being a genius, decided that I was going to do a scene from Goosebumps with my pal Alonzo. Now, I just want to make it clear, Alonzo isn't his real name. His real name's Adrian. I changed it for privacy reasons. So me and Alonzo were going to do a scene where he was a ventriloquist and I was Slappy the Dummy. And, it would start off lighthearted and fun, and then, Slappy would come in and mess things up with a couple insults. So we went up on stage and we started with some lines from the book, Hey guys, everyone meet Slappy the Dummy. Who you calling dummy, dummy? Real clever stuff. But I was in 2nd grade and I couldn't remember every line from the book, so I just started improving. Fun stuff like, well, this guy's so dumb, he thinks 2 + 2 is 5. Really killer stuff. But the worst part is then, I ran out of lighthearted insults. So I just started going for the throat on Alonzo. I would say stuff like, this guy's so socially awkward, he doesn't have any friends! It was terrible. But I think the worst part was the fact that it fucking killed. People were falling out of their seats laughing so hard. Even the teacher was like, he is socially awkward. So since then, I've repressed this memory for years because it's a terrible thing I did. Until a couple weeks ago when I was talking with Alonzo, and he was like, Ryan, remember that time you recreated a scene from Goosebumps? And I looked at him and I said, holy shit, I thought that was a dream, man! Bro, check it out, check it out. Goosebumps. Thank you, that's my time.
You guys don't know this because it's Halloween, she's dressed up, but Gabby actually usually dresses like a Goosebumps character. Just stripes everywhere.
Not sure how to take that. But last up is our democratically elected president, but tonight he's Prince Charming. It's Dan Carr.
How y'all doing tonight? I too am doing woo. I'm wearing tights, or leggings I guess they're called. I wear khakis, so I don't know what they're called. It's good because, or no, it's bad actually, sorry, I missed a joke. It's bad because, can't carry my phone around, but it makes my ass look fantastic. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, you can clap for that. Thank you. You guys can't see, it's not that kind of show. Before we get into some jokes, anyone here religious? Fabulous. We're all gonna end up in hell. I can say whatever the fuck I want. It's gonna get super blasphemous. We are gonna take the Lord's name in vain, which you can't do because he's a sensitive guy. I can imagine him telling Moses that commandment. And tell them that if they're mean to me, they can't come to my party. I get that though, I get that commandment. I hate when people take my name in vain. A couple years ago, my ex said I was boring, and I still pray every day that she ends up in hell. I'm not religious, I'm just like doing any god I can, get her into hell. Not only that, she also worships a false idol, Jeff. Jeff, you here tonight? Fucking good. So let's talk about Jesus. It's a fun way to start most conversations, right? So Jesus, of course, died for our sins, except he didn't really die. He took a long weekend for our sins. Company gave him Good Friday off. Good on them. I don't think he died. Some of you might be like, doctors were there. They might have pronounced him dead at the scene. But they didn't know what a coma was back then. They didn't know what a lot of things were back then. You think they knew what a pulse was? Or they were just like, yeah, no, you still got a demon inside of you. I actually did some research for this next joke. It's going to get a bit squeamish, so for those of you who are faint of heart, stop listening with my hand up. So right now, alright guys who are still listening, we're going to make fun of the people who stop listening. Fucking pussies. But no, this is 100% true. To treat STIs, that's why I'm going to get gross, what they would do is put leeches in the area where it was affected, which is the genitalia, because they thought it would suck out the bad blood. Alright, everyone's back with me now? But that's 100% true. It's actually not, I made that up. Teach you guys about worshiping a false idol. I'm glad it wasn't Jeff, I'm glad it was me. Wish someone else would have taken that lesson, but it's whatever, you guys are better. Alright, last bit of jokes for you guys. I do kind of wish that the Bible fandom would talk about their characters the way other fandoms talk about their characters. I feel like fanfic of the Bible would be pretty fun. I feel like especially the shipping of other characters would be fun, because I feel like the Bible already has so many characters who are perfectly set up for it. The OG ship, Adam and Eve. The gender bending of that, Adam and Steve. Everyone likes a little incest, right? Some people are weird, some of you cheered for that. But anyway, we all like to read about it. And the Bible has that, Cain and Abel. Was it rage that forced Cain to kill Abel, or was it something more passionate?
I'm just asking questions. And finally, I was talking about the Bible. I'm obviously going to get into the furries. Jonah and the whale. He was inside that whale once. I don't see why he can't be inside it the second time. And now that I've made that joke, I'm going to cede my time. Thank you so much for coming, everyone.
So tall, Jesus. Okay. Thank you for spending your Saturday night with us. We really appreciate it. Nothing? Okay, the show's over. You can clap for that. And yeah, that's it. Have a great